Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Houston HBCU Live. I am Bishop Richard Harper, the Vice President of the Houston HBCU Alumni Association here in Houston, Texas, and we are an organization of HBCU alumni and enthusiasts that are sharing the message of our historically black colleges and universities all across the country. We have many programs that are going on, and we certainly invite you to go to our website so that you'll know exactly who we are and what's going on with us. You can go to www.hhbcuaa.org to join our organization or to make a donation to the many programs that we have going on. Our scholarship program, we just concluded our HBCU College Fair, which is the largest HBCU recruitment event in the U.S., as well as our mentoring program, our scholarship program. We have so many things that are taking place, and we definitely want you to be a part of it. So you can go to www.hhbcuaa.org. Now, do us a favor, like and share the broadcast. And all of you out there, rep your school, rep your HBCUs. And if you're not an HBCU alum, that's okay. We're not holding it against you. You rep your school too, okay? Because at the end of the day, we support education and higher education. Today's show, we're going to be talking about not panicking during the pandemic, reaching those goals, accomplishing those goals during the pandemic, your personal goals, your business goals, and as well as your educational goals. And in doing that, we have two dynamic guests that are on with us tonight. We have Tandy Caraway that is on with us from um, College Mode Academy, and we'll be talking with her in just a little bit more. And we have the Dr. Don Paul, life coach, media personality here in Houston. Many of you have seen her on some of our local TV shows or perhaps some of the national media outlets as well. And she's going to be talking with us also. So we are very excited about the conversation that we will be going into. So I want to bring up our first guest tonight, who is Miss Tandy Caraway. Tandy Caraway has been helping students excel academically and reach their educational goals for over 20 years by using student-focused strategies. She began her educational career by coordinating an after-school program at her high school alma mater. Since that time, she has tutored, instructed, and counseled hundreds of students, leaving them with a renewed sense of self-confidence and motivation. She has been featured by media outlets such as Forbes, OZY Media, the Dallas Examiner, Miami Herald, the Florida Channel, and Charlotte Parent Magazine. She, through her company, College Mode Academy, has helped hundreds of students secure millions of dollars in scholarships, grants, and fellowships. Her programs developed hashtag full ride scholars who are the next generation of change makers. Everyone, welcome to the stage tonight, my good friend, my very good friend, Miss Tandy Caraway. How are you, Tandy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I see my co-host. Let me bring Miss Veronica Johnson on with us.
Awesome.
Glad you can make it, co-host. Tandy, we're very excited to have you on with us tonight, and very excited about all of the many things that you have going on as you are helping students. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you began to help students secure that full ride.
Yeah, so I started out myself I won over $1 million in scholarships in high school. And so from that point on, people just kind of asked me all the time to help kids with scholarships and all of that. So I was teaching full time, and I transitioned out of teaching, and really, I was asking God, what's the next step? Because teaching had gotten so hectic and crazy that I knew it was a space I couldn't stay in, but I still love what I do is working with students and teaching. And so God really gave me this as the next step and said, it's time to share your story.
God, what's
I'm
the
like,
next
this
step?
story.
Because teaching had gotten so.
And so the story was this story about winning the money and how other students could do that. So I really just set out trying to use my educational technology background because I did my master's in that. And what's the 21st century version of what I was doing back in the day? So that's how College Mode started. It's just me saying, I'm gonna take old school, new school, and let's get after this money. And it's blossomed from there and turned into to so much more than that. But that's what happened. So now in my programming, my signature programs, the kids stay with me. They can start them as early as ninth grade, and we go through senior year. I am a holistic college readiness, college access program, meaning that while we do look at the historical things that colleges are looking for, right? Ability to write essays, test scores, academic achievement, service and leadership. We're also looking at the student being able to launch into their career and being a stronger person in general. So a lot of time, 100% of my kids are still in college, persisting in their degree. And so our numbers nationwide is only like around 50 something percent stay in college. So it's huge for me to have those numbers. Um, so more than the scholarships almost, I'm proud that my program builds the stamina, the foundational things they need to help them have the staying power to go to school and actually graduate. And debt free is what we're going for in my programs.
Absolutely. And debt free is possible. Debt free is
Absolutely.
absolutely possible. Now, Tandy, I'm going to take you back in the conversation because you talked about high school.
Hmm.
So, we got to give a shout out to our high school because I
Mighty
need y'all to know
Tigers in the
Mighty
house.
Tigers, Lincoln High School, Dallas, Texas. We ain't going to tell what class we graduated in.
No, at first I used to be happy to tell the class. I don't know about that, but our Mighty Tigers are still. I was on a service committee. Like we were reviewing service projects the other week, and our Tigers represented and won first place in the category. And then even this weekend, the videographer, I didn't know that the photographer hired him to come in, but he was a Mighty Tiger as well. So I'm always representing our Tiger family.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're talking about the full ride, and I'm having a little technical issue here, guys. This is live TV, Carrington. Let's see. Um, I think we've come unplugged. So here we go. I'm sorry, Carrington. Help Daddy out. Plug that in. I'm sorry.
Listen, we're okay. We're good to
Some-
go. I understand. I told you I was on here fighting with audio to get on here.
I'm
Like
telling
we
you,
weren't gonna be able to
something's
hear
just
you.
coming unplugged, and so we just need to go ahead and get this plug back up so we just won't lose it. Okay, got it. All right, we're plugged in so we won't lose the show. Thank you guys, and please keep representing your schools as well. We're so glad Grambling is on with us. That's Miss Gracie Bradford, Janet Harvey from Wilberforce is online. Um,
Awesome.
Yolanda Mitchell from Jarvis Christian College, and our guest Don Paul. Dr. Don is a Jarvis alum, Jarvis Christian College. Dr. Don Paul. So you're helping students and you're working with parents. Why is the full ride? What makes the full ride possible? Let's begin with that because some people feel like let's debunk the myth about that is impossible.
It is not impossible. And while, I share on my personal Facebook page my kids, my students' wins all the time. And some of them, a lot of them are very high achieving. They're pushing. But I will say this what I look for is a 3.0 or higher when I'm seeing if you can come in my program and succeed. And that's because the way things are graded now, if you ask a kid, like if you put them on the spot and say, what does it take to get a C? They're like, not that much. I just need to put my name on there and kind of turn it in. So those students, they're not going to be as successful when it's time to push, but it is totally possible. So I've had students with a 3.0. I've had a student with a 2.7, but a 3.0 weighted GPA get a full tuition scholarship. So it's totally possible. So I'm looking at the GPA because that's going to give me the long term, like what does this kid kind of do over a stretch of time with their work? Because we have our ups and we have our downs. I'm also
Mm.
looking at the test scores because a lot of schools went test optional, but that was for admissions. That was not for money. And when we look at our test scores, as much as we say testing is not for everybody, the reality is these kids, like some of my kids are going to be doctors, lawyers, they're going to have to test into their profession. So I'm everybody won't agree with me on this, but my philosophy is if you're at Taco Bell, you have to take a test to get to team lead and to supervisor manager. So giving them this false sense of it's okay, you can't test. No, build a skill in them now so they know how they learn and how they can test. Because college, once you get to second level, you're just writing papers and testing. So this is something they're
Sure.
gonna have to be able to do. So I think that's one of the reasons why my kids they learn how they learn best and how best to retain and recall information in a testing environment is part of what we do. And then service and leadership. People like yourself, Bishop, you go out and you are hustling for these kids' future in organizations like this. You're spending a lot of time, nobody's paying you to do this. And what I always tell students, if you're out here hustling for free and you show up and it looks like you've been watching TV all day, nobody's invested. You don't look like a good investment, and I don't want to invest in you because you don't have the same hustle grind mindset as I have as a philanthropist and somebody that's trying to see the future. And so that's really important, parents, to understand that people like, the HBCU alumni organization, they're spending a lot of time of their own
Hmm.
time and they're looking for the
Yes.
future version of them. And so if
Absolutely.
your
Yes.
child does not look like that, is not working with that mindset, I mean, they can tell you themselves, but I know for a fact I'm not out here selling spaghetti dinners and raffle tickets and all this stuff. And then you look like you've been at home eating Burger King and McDonald's. As my pastor would say, you got to be real about this thing. And so we're out here, even with the work I do, I'm looking for the next, I tell them the next Maxine Waters, the next Ava DuVernay, the next whatever it is, Madam VP. Um, I'm looking for the next Barack Obama. I'm looking to have a place to grow those students. All right. The next Denzel Watch. I have creatives, I have the STEM scholars, I have all of that. I'm looking for a place to groom them and grow them so
Right.
they know that they're strong even before they get to college. And so your kid needs to look like that. They need to be ready to put in that work. And if they change paths later, nobody, I tell them all the time, nobody's tapping you on your shoulder to say, you said you were going to be this. No, nobody's doing that, but they need to have a mindset that they're pushing towards a target.
Right.
Absolutely. Tandy, what are the first steps? When should parents begin the whole scholarship process? I get that question all the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, my child isn't a senior, so when do I start? Do we wait until the senior year or can they start the process early?
They
Or
should
so
start the
how
process
early?
early. They have them for kindergarten, but I personally, unless your kid is just already in a certain area, like a artistic, like poem, like writing poetry, scholastic arts, all those things that were back around when we were in school that our teachers kind of entered us in. I
Mm,
would say it's okay to get
Hmm.
them started on some of that, but when they come to middle school, now is the time to really look for, 5 to 10 competitions a year that they can get into and be a part of and just get
mm,
their feet wet with that. Don't set them up with the expectation that they're trying to win. Set them up with the expectation that they're starting to learn what it takes to win because they may need to build a portfolio. There may be some other things. I won my first contest, a scholarship contest in the eighth grade, and it was an essay contest. And so every year, almost every big city has the MLK essay contest. Is your kid taking part in that? That's a really easy one to do. They have
Ability to write
oratorical contests
essays,
given by
test
like the
scores,
LSI
academic achievement,
and
targets.
Eastern Star. Like these organizations are doing contests that would groom your kid to be able to speak well for the interviews. would build their confidence and get them some money. So those are perfect places to start with your kid, to start in those places. And then as they go along in high school, more opportunities open up with each school year. And so, but they should start there because the student needs to have an idea of what this takes. What does competition look like? Like, what is my competition later on going to look like? One of our
Mm-hmm.
classmates, Tasha Combs' daughter, was featured by Dallas ISD for a poem that she and I shared that on my page with my group for my parents, and I told them she's in the fifth grade right now. This is what the seed of getting a full ride looks like at this age. Is that
Mhm.
she's grooming a certain talent to be known for, to be recognized for, and to be really good at. So that by the time she hits those years where it really counts for bigger dollars, she's ready.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Right.
That's good. Tell us a little bit more about the book. You've written a book,
Yeah,
which is a guide that will help parents with the process. One of
absolutely.
us has got a device turned on, and so it's feedback. So if you're listening on a different phone or a tablet or something, you're gonna have to turn it down. I think I'm hearing some
Absolutely.
feedback
See what I'm
from one
doing.
of the.
Um, all right.
Okay.
So for me, when with the book, the reason why I wrote the book and it's really a guide to finding the scholarships that are for you. It's the 30-day full ride guide. And so your kid can spend 30 days this summer, for instance, going through each one of those chapters and finding the scholarships that are related for them. One of the biggest tasks that people think that people underestimate until they get into senior year and they realize, wait a minute, I don't even know where to find these scholarships that really my kid needs. And so this book really walks you through step by step how to build the ultimate scholarship list for your kid. And if you buy it early on, you can do a little bit at a time, like I said, over the summers. Or if you are just getting, you got a class 2022, you got a college student, there's some chapters in there. If you buy the book, definitely reach out and I'll tell you which chapters to go for first. But ultimately, you need to be applying for scholarships that are looking for you, as opposed to you going after just any scholarship. And so a lot of people like go after all of them. Okay, that's like going after every job listing on Monster or Indeed. Like,
Mhm.
don't do it. I
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Absolutely.
The scholarships have their eligibility criteria and who they're looking for. And so you want to be applying for those that are looking for people that meet your profile. And so that's what the book does. It really helps you hone in on making a really great college list for yourself.
And how do we begin to? What are the steps parents can take to begin to strategize? And on top of number one, contact you.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Number one, contact you because I've seen the work that you do, and I'm always so proud to see those students actually being admitted to so many of the HBCUs
Oh,
and
yeah.
several scholarships as well. I'm always excited about that. I'm like, at least apply, even if you decide you're
We,
not
yeah,
going
they
to
do.
attend. At least apply.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we had to push, our kids are in some diverse places nowadays. And I'm like, listen, again, it's like the scholarships. Don't go chasing after a whole bunch of people that don't want you.
Okay,
You know, your people at home gonna
absolutely,
take you
absolutely.
in. And so while I don't, depending on what they put out there when I'm posting, it's more about them than it is about me. But on the back end, rest assured, I'm like, listen, because
Hmm.
my experience of even leading up to being at the same high school with you, I was in a very diverse environment and nobody was looking out for me. I had to
Exactly.
come home to get what I needed. So,
Yes.
absolutely. But strategizing wise, one thing I want to say is hope is not a plan. We hope in Jesus, but faith without works is dead.
Right.
Listen, so hope is not a plan for you. I hope they get a scholarship. This is not a real plan.
I'm
So
gonna tell y'all, this is me and Tandy on the phone in high school. Okay, this is us on the phone in high school.
I am who I am 100% of the time. Just telling y'all, hope is not a plan. So you need a real plan and think about savings will need to be part of that plan because even
Mhm.
if you get 100% full ride scholarship, you have to pay for senior year and you have to pay to get the kid off to college. And
Mm,
so I've had to, while I was teaching and doing some of the stuff I was saying earlier, I've had to seed money just to get kids off to college after I helped them get a full ride in the community because
mm,
nobody planned for that.
mm,
So one of your strategies is definitely going to need to be saving. And so if your
mm,
kid is working, one of the things you can do to encourage them to save is have them save a certain percentage and match them, right? You might use your tax return and put money aside and say, well, they'll probably earn 1,000, save $1,000 this year. Let me match them as they're saving to incentivize them, but you've already put that money aside and you know that you're going to do that,
mhm,
right? Also let them know about their bills that they're creating in your house, these Uber Eats and higher cell phones and all of that stuff. You don't have to spend that money to keep up with them because you got to think about long term. You really do have to think about long term. Will you want that money back that you paid for the cell phone 4 years ago when it's time to pay this college bill, right? When it's time to buy their first set of books because all the scholarship money isn't quite on the books yet. Like you want to be thinking long term and strategizing with your saving and budgeting and also teaching them those skills at the same time so they aren't hitting you up for a cash app every other day when they're in college. All right? Because this is the real life stuff that happens. Uh, and then when we talk about scholarships, right now, I want to make sure I say this with the athletics. I have a lot of parents that are coming to me that was like, I just knew they were going to get an athletic scholarship. We didn't even get the looks we were thinking. So, this is what's going on, guys, with the athletics. You have to re strategize. It's not what it was before. You have to plan accordingly. With COVID, all of the NCAA athletes have been given another year of eligibility. With that being said, so if you have a baseball team and they had 20 scholarships, maybe all 20 or 19 of them in the past years would have been available after senior year. But now maybe only half are leaving. They're choosing to take that extra year eligibility. The school doesn't have an extra scholarship fund just for COVID.
mhm.
So those other 9 or 10 scholarships just aren't available anymore right now.
Wow.
So that is the competition is going way up on the athletic end because there's not as many scholarships available and or they're doing more partials that are smaller. All
Mm,
right. So the academics where you were like, they'll be okay that they didn't do so great over there. They're not gonna be okay. You're gonna need them to bump it up on the academics. And because there's so much learning loss because of COVID, this summer is going to be really pivotal, guys. Like with my students, I'm investing in another tutorial software just for math catch up,
wow.
just to remediate math. Because when I looked at my test scores for my students, they just they were not good. They were not what I've seen in the past level for my students, and I know it's because of the COVID learning loss. So don't assume the school is going to catch your kid up. If your kid is already in high school, the time frame that the school districts have to get themselves together to be able to catch up, your kid will probably be out of school and applying for colleges before the schools figure it out. I mean, they don't pivot quick. So these are things you want to be thinking about in your strategy that you may need to invest in enrichment to tutoring this summer. Even if your kid is normally strong, you need to assess where they should be. Like, so if they took Algebra 1, are they actually proficient in Algebra 1? They took English 1, are they actually proficient in English 1? Like, these are things we need to figure out for our kids' sake so that they're not behind. When they get to college, if it's too hard, they're going to quit. They just are. So um, that's part of the process is to keep them in the game. So that would be one strategy, saving and everything, but assessing where your kid is because COVID has created some new issues. The athletic thing, assessing how many like call ups in school that your kids is interested in, and ask how many scholarships do you have available now, and how much are you normally getting, so you're not surprised when normally maybe 2 years ago there was a kid on your football team that got a full ride from the school and the school says, oh, we are only offering half tuitions now. That's all we have available. You don't want to get that surprise going off past data, right? And then the other thing is schools have lost a lot of money in the pandemic. And one thing they're not being honest about, guys, these scholarships I saw here this year, some of them were not as good as they were in past years. The offers were not as plentiful or as good. And some of the kids that they turned down, it was like, whoa. And so the colleges don't want to put out there that they're unstable, which I get. But at some point, because I see a lot with my students coming through, my students applied for 75 different colleges this year. So I got to see what those offers look like from all those colleges, plus the other kids that I'm just watching outside of that. Some schools did more, but a lot of schools did less. A lot of schools did less. So get your plan together. Think about it this way. What I've been saying that God gave me, and I know God gave it to me because I wasn't saying it before this, is in-state college costs you around but somewhere between $20,000 and $27,000 a year. You multiply that by 4 years if the kid gets out in 4 years, more like 5 years. You're looking at the cost of a house, and you're trying to pay the cost of a house in 4 years instead of 30.
Wow.
That's the reality of the situation you're in. You're trying to
Mhm,
pay a whole mortgage in 4 years instead of 30. What would you do now if you knew you had to pay off your house in 4 years? That's
mhm,
what you need to be doing for your kids' college education.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tandy. We really appreciate you. I know you have your session tonight with your
Yes.
students. Absolutely. Please give us your website and how everyone can stay in touch with you that want to know more about your program.
Awesome. So one thing I want to make sure I do before I hop off, the website that you should be visiting this week is debtfreecollegeweek.com. So I am doing a debt-free college week, a whole week long summit about saving, maximizing, getting more financial aid than you think you can get. I have parents that are making over $100,000 in my camp. We're still getting financial aid. So if you want to know how to truly send your kid to college debt free and make a plan, come spend the week with us next week and make that plan. Debtfreecollegeweek.com is where you go and you get a free ticket. And then my Facebook group is getscholardollars.com, guys. Getscholardollars.com. And I'll drop it in the comments. But thank you so much for having me,
Very
Richard.
good.
I'm so excited to come and share. Veronica, thank you. At some point, I hope to get to meet you in
Thank
person. I
you so
I'll
very,
be
very much for joining us.
thanks.
And we're certainly going to look over at your website. You have
Thanks.
a wealth of information.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. My regards to your husband and your family. Tell everybody I said hello.
I absolutely will. Talk to you guys
Abs-
soon.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, that was great information there. So, guys, please make
Yes,
sure
it
you,
was, Bishop.
yeah, to visit Tandy's website and just get the
Mhm.
information. There's nothing wrong with a conversation. We're glad that our
Right.
president has joined us, Dr. Veronica Johnson.
Yes, 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 yes.
That you have joined
I
us
told
now,
you.
and
We
it is
graduated from historically black colleges, one of the fine historically black colleges and universities. And guess what? Nothing can get the best of us. Nothing.
that's right.
We
That's
are
right.
flexible. We know how to adapt. And
Yeah.
guess what? I am here, guys.
We're glad you're here. We're going to bring up our next guest, which I know she has a lot of fellow alums. I'm seeing Jarvis Christian College popping up all over the place because Dr. Don Paul, also known AKA the Dr. Don, is a certified life coach, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and media personality. She is also one of my sisters in media, as we are on the same radio station. But Don Paul is an award winning certified life coach, author, media personality, and public speaker with authenticity and the gift and passion to genuinely connect with people. She realizes that her words have power and purpose. Not taking this great responsibility lightly, Dawn understands that life coaching is about the whole person, affording her the privilege to support highly motivated clients and individuals in achieving specific goals so they can lead a more fulfilling life. She earned her degree from Jarvis Christian College and HBCU and her life coach certification. she earned from the Life Purpose Institute, also known as the Dr. Dawn, on her radio
Oh,
and
wow.
TV platforms. She interviews guests and notables on purposeful topics that educate, engage, empower, and elevate. Dawn has effectiveness and insight affords her the opportunity to be invited on platforms that include Fox 26, NBC, KPRC, KHOU 11, and CW 39. I'm so excited to have with us today our HBCU sister, the Dr. Dawn. Hey, Dr.
Hey, hey,
Hi,
how
Dr.
are ya?
Dawn. How are you?
Good. Y'all made me sound like Oprah. I'm telling you. Wait a minute.
Come on, you got it.
Hey,
That's what we do.
hey, y'all making me sound like Oprah. Let me go back and y'all do that again. I'm telling you.
Okay.
So good to meet
Oh,
you,
my
Dr. Douglas.
goodness.
So glad to have you and to introduce you to our Houston HBCU audience. And of course, Jarvis is in the house. So you've got a lot of friends and alums out there, I see.
Yes, and it's good to meet you,
Yes.
Dr. Johnson. Good to meet you, Dr. Johnson.
Yes, 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 yes. Doctor, I am so excited to have you on here today sharing with us. I
Yes.
tell you, we have such great guests to come
Yeah.
on and share with our listening audience. So, with that, I want to just turn it over to you because I want you to enlighten us, educate us, so that when we leave tonight, we will be able to share with others.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And thank you to
Absolutely.
my brother Richard. Love you, brother.
I love you too. First of all, you must tell us about your HBCU experience. I know you're passionate about HBCUs.
Yes. Well, I have to
Oh,
say
yes.
my great aunt, may she rest in peace. She was an English professor, Daiselyn Wilson at Jarvis Christian College. So that's how I
Okay.
found out about, yeah, that's how and I have family in Tyler, Texas. Yeah. So it was a good college
Wonderful.
experience. Yeah. I needed to be away from home, right? Because I grew up
Mhm.
in Louisville, Texas, a small suburb, but Jarvis was like a home community, which HBCUs are. You're not going to get
Yes.
the family environment. You're not going to get that professor who's going to give you another chance and who sees you've been struggling. You're a good student, but what is going on
Right.
today? I'm going to give you another chance.
Exactly.
Whereas the other schools are not going to do that. And they understand also other teachers,
Absolutely.
our teachers at professors at HBCUs understand the struggles and the challenges that we face, and they're very patient. Very, very patient. But yeah, I had a great experience, met a lot of people. Yeah, Pledge Delta. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, great experience.
Divine Nine.
Yes, yes.
In the house. Dr. Don, many people are panicking. There are many people, it seems as if people are lightening up in the midst of the pandemic because some are getting their vaccine, some are not accepting the vaccine, but we're yet still seeing people being adversely affected by COVID 19. And in the midst of that, people are panicking. Programs have stopped, projects have stopped. People are saying, "What am I going to do next?" And
Mhm.
I invited you to help us tonight, how not to panic during the pandemic and how we can stay focused on what we were working on before COVID 19, because I believe that God still has a window open for us. Della Reese, I play this song
Right.
most every morning on my show. Della
Yeah.
Reese sings a song that says that when a door closes, the good Lord leaves a window open.
Yeah.
And so I always play that song. So I want you to help us with how we can still our minds and stay focused on all of those wonderful things that we were working on.
Yeah. Well, I think first of all,
Exactly.
we need to be realistic, right? I'm glad the vaccine is here, and let the Lord lead you if you take it or not. But that doesn't mean all of our problems are going away,
All
right?
right.
You have some people who have lost loved ones. You have some people who are still, they have been out of work for longer than a year. Or they have taken a job where they're making half the income. They're still trying to feed their family. That stimulus check is running out, even though we on number 3. So we have to understand, it's not necessarily that people are being lazy. Are you going through depression? So you first have to look at why you're in a place of stagnation. Is it because now some people working from home, have you gotten lazy? Have you gotten comfortable? Gain those extra pounds because you've gotten out of your routine, or is it you're dealing with depression or grief? So you have to look at what is it? What is the reason? And then you can address it, right? You can address it. And I tell people I am a certified life coach. My nickname is the Dr. Dawn, right? But what you can do is I can support you in your goals, but if you're dealing with depression, grief, deep-rooted issues as to why, what is it? Then I can definitely refer you to a therapist and counselor who is reputable and credible. That's the key here. I didn't bring this list off of something I got off Google. These are people who I know, who are trusted, who are good in this. So you have me, you have these therapist counselors, but it's very important. You have to look at what is it? What is it? What is the reason for the stagnation, first of all?
That's good. The stagnation. How some people may not realize that they are depressed or that they've actually grown stagnant. They may just feel like they're okay. How do we recognize that we've actually grown stagnant?
Well, one of the things is, stagnation, is just slow moving. But let's say, for example, how do you know you're depressed? Well, have you lost passion for something you used to love to do? Are you lashing out at others? Are you angry? Has your emotion changed? Things you used to do, you're starting to do them now. You're drinking, you're picking up habits, old habits that you were delivered from are coming back into your space. So you have to, you really have to, stagnation is just slow moving, but you have to see your mood changing. And also, let me tell you something. If you are living alone, see, it's easy for you to mask it and to hide it and to put up a facade. And on Facebook, you're posting all this prosperity. But I like to go back to, am I my brother's keeper? Have you checked on your friend? Not texted them, because they're going to say, oh, I'm good. Social media is not reality of what people are really living. And I'm going to tell you that, and that's the honest truth. Okay. So are you checking on that single person? Family, you need to be conscious and aware. Why is mom angry all of a sudden? Why is mom not cooking dinner like she used to? Why is dad angry all the time? It's a reason. So family, you need to, in love, you need to communicate to that family member. There are some red flags, just your mood changes. You don't want to get up anymore. I know you lost your job, but we need you to get up. You need to get up. Because I tell people, you are not alone. I don't care. You need to distance yourself from things that have you in a negative place. I know on social media, it looks like everybody's prosperous during COVID and nobody's had a bad day. That is a lie from the pits of hell. It is not Facebook. It is fake book. And you need to understand it. You are not alone. So don't feel shame. You need to reach out to a friend. You need to DM Dr. Johnson and say, girl, I just need you. I need you to pray for. You should have some trusted people around you who you can reach out to, because what we don't want is you to be in that house alone, going further into depression, because the truth is we're not checking on each other. We don't check on each other. So we are our brother's keeper, but also if you are single, especially, it's up to you to reach out. Dr. Johnson doesn't know you're depressed. Bishop Harper doesn't know you're depressed. I don't know you're depressed, but you should have some trusted people you can reach out to who won't judge you. Yeah. But you're going to have to look yourself in the mirror. And you're going to have to be tired of where you are. You're going to have to be tired of where you are. And you're going to have to distance yourself from those negative things. Get off social media for a minute and get in reality. Get in the word. Get back to those things you used to do, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. Small steps. You got to start with small steps too.
And you bring up an interesting point. That's funny. I was saying on my radio show this morning, I just stopped to say, y'all need to start checking on each other.
Yes.
Check on people in the church you haven't seen.
Yes.
Call people and see how they're doing, and just ask them randomly, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
You mentioned even on my show a very interesting experience you had where you came off of social media
Mhm.
for a period of time. So I mean, you're not
Mhm.
just preaching to the choir. You've
Yeah.
actually you've lived it. It's something that you've done, and people don't realize
Mhm.
that you take a break from social media because the images and the pictures sometimes will have you even more depressed
Oh, yes.
than inspiring you.
Right.
Oh, yes. I tell people we're in
Exactly.
this thing together. I don't just shake my finger at people, right? And when I give my messages to people, I said many of these messages are from experiences I've had. A couple years ago, I shared it with you on my show. My businesses were not doing well. I was in one of the lowest places in my life.
Mhm.
Uh, and I was like, and I was posting for popularity to look good, but I was like, what did I say, Richard? I said, I feel like a fraud, a hypocrite,
Yes, that's what
posting
you
about
said.
business and all this stuff. And I wasn't lying and saying I just signed a deal, right? But I was like, businesses, make sure I was just posting, but I'm like, I'm not even living this right now. My business is the foundation of the business is not well. And I'm posting like things are favorable. I said, I got to get off this. I don't care what people think. So I got off the Dr. Don and Obsessed with Media, both my companies. And I said, I got to get it straight. And I
Mhm.
had to start taking small steps to do what really mattered because social media, again, fake book, is the
Mhm.
foundation of your business strong. And it was other things mentally, emotionally, spirit I was dealing with, right?
Mhm.
That was, but my business on top of that, I just wasn't feeling good about myself. How am I
Mhm.
coaching? And I'm not even, and so I had to get off. And it was to the
Mhm.
point where some people were like, "Are you okay? We haven't seen you on social media." And I appreciated them for checking up on me. But the truth is things weren't good, but I had to distance myself from social media because I don't care. Even the encourager needs encouragement. Um,
Absolutely.
but I started to take small steps, and that's why I tell people. Everybody says go big. You have to take small steps. If you have gained maybe 30 pounds, let's be honest about
Yes,
it.
you do.
Has happened. Don't say tomorrow I'm going to run 5 miles and you haven't ran a lap in a year. You need to take small steps. Tomorrow I'm going to walk around the block. Small steps. So that's what I started building back my business is getting the foundation straight and
Mhm.
small steps. And I said, God, if you want me to be an entrepreneur, let me know.
Mhm.
But if I do everything I'm supposed to do and these businesses don't prosper, then I will walk away. I'll go back to corporate. I'll go work for somebody else. But he started blessing my business when I handled the real business that mattered, not that
Right.
social media stuff. When I handled the
Exactly.
foundation, that's when he said, okay, and he blessed it. And I said, thank you, God. That was the confirmation. And I just kept going, kept pushing. Um, and I'm telling you, and we're still building on the foundation, right? Because there's always improvements that can be made. But I just thank God for that confirmation.
Mhm.
I was down. So that's how I
Right.
know Facebook is fake. Uh, you know, we don't lie on social media, right? But if you're not having a good day, don't post a selfie. God is good, and you don't even feel like He's good today. Just take some time, spend that time to get right with Him, right? You
Right.
don't have anything to prove to anybody.
I know that's right. I want to ask you, what's your advice for people that are afraid to get up and get going? Because some of the stagnation is like you said, we've just grown comfortable
Yeah.
being in the house, getting up, starting again. There are ministers that have
Yes.
grown comfortable with virtual service and and we love both of them.
Yeah.
But ministry hasn't stopped, and people
Yeah.
out there still need to be touched. So
Yes.
people have locked themselves away, and they're afraid to move forward in life and to start again. So, what is your advice to the person who's afraid to get up and start again after dealing with COVID?
Well, I think again, you have to go back to the what is it as to why you have fear. Are you
Mm,
dealing with grief? Once you know the why, the what is causing the root, then you can address the root, right? So if it's grief, if you're fearful because maybe your mom, and I know people who, and Richard, we know our sister who lost 2 family members within a few days of
that's
each
right.
other. She could have been dealing with fear because of that.
Right.
We don't know what trauma people are dealing with. So first you have to address the grief, the depression, or whatever it is. But if it's something like you have just gotten comfortable and you're fearful and you're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Let me tell you something. How do you know unless you try? And this is what I encourage people to do. Everybody sees all these people now, right? I encourage people, go back and look at stories of people you admire and their challenges in the beginning. They had to get up. They had to get up. They had to get up. So of course, in reading the word first in the Bible, right? But look at those people who you look up to, and you'd be surprised when you really dig deep into their lives. They struggled just like you, but they got up. And they overcame molestation, divorce. Look at what they overcame. So that will encourage you as well. But I say take small steps. Start small, because if you don't, you'll overwhelm yourself. You'll quit in the middle of it because you've taken on too much. Be realistic about what you can do, but small steps. One thing every day. Start by getting your domain name. That's nothing. Then the next day, look online. How do I do an LLC? Then the next day, you call a business mentor or something. Every day there's something you can do, just spending 10 minutes a day. Small steps. But then I also say, take a piece of paper, right? And I know we don't do paper because everybody's on computer, but take a piece of paper and the goals you want to reach. On one side, put where you will be if you reach those goals. On the other side, write down where you'll be if you don't reach those goals. Don't try. Do you want to be where you want to be, or do you want to stay where you are? Okay, because life is still moving. Life is still moving. So look at where you will be if you don't even try. Yeah. Small steps.
You brought
let
up.
me ask this question, Bishop. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask this question because sometimes it really starts with ourselves.
Yes.
And what would you say to an individual that have a tendency to actually throw a pity party for themselves? I don't know if that makes them feel better, but I know it brings down those around them. So what would you say to help individuals to move away from that in order to do those things that you were just talking about?
Well, first of all, it comes with acknowledgement. First of all, it comes with acknowledgement. Are you acknowledging you are having a pity party? See, some people like attention. Okay, but see, am I my brother's keeper? Let me go back to that, Dr. Johnson. You need to say, girl, you need to stop, or I can't be around you anymore. You see what I'm saying? We also have to set boundaries. So first, if that friend doesn't acknowledge it, then you need to, I say, check people in love, right? And say, girl, you bringing me down. I just can't do this anymore. I've told you, I prayed for you, but that's what I can do. But I'm going to have to distance myself from you, and they'll get in check. Trust and believe, because some people like attention, and you give them attention, they're going to keep doing it like a little child. You keep watching them, they're going to have a temper tantrum. Turn your head and they're going to get it straight because they want attention. Some people are like that, but then they're going to have to deal again, therapy and counseling as to why you need that attention, right? But if you're, pity party, you just can't have a pity party. One of the things I talked about on my radio show today, I talked about the woman with the issue of blood and how she was desperate for a touch, to touch Jesus as him for a healing. She didn't have time for a pity party. When you are desperate to get out of your situation, you better get in that word. You better get with God. You better get to work. And I'm telling you, you'll be delivered from that pity party. But if it's another reason, like you need attention, and that's something else. You need Jesus, and we need to refer you to a doctor and a therapist. Amen. But yeah, that's so true. That's true. I don't have time. We're y'all. We don't have time to give attention.
That is powerful.
Come on, y'all.
And then let's touch upon this. Let's touch upon this while we've touched upon that. Let's touch upon that other side, because we want to cover the whole story.
Yes.
Now you are trying to assist that person, and you're being strong. You're giving them this tough love. Now, touch upon that part to help them understand that this is tough love, and we are here to assist you. So go ahead.
And I like what you said, Dr. Johnson. See, you need to assist your loved ones, but you can't enable. So there's a difference. Are you assisting, helping support them, or are you enabling that behavior? Right. Again, a toddler on the ground having a temper tantrum, who wants a cookie? Are you gonna give them a cookie, or you gonna give them a spanking? And get that thing straight. So sometimes we have to come to our friends and say, again, I go back to the root. What is it, girl? What is it that you're down? You're having a pity party. What is it? And we don't check each other. Sometimes we don't like to say anything. We just, you know, we don't like to have hard conversations, but we have to do it. But you don't know what people are going through. But also you have to check up on that friend, but you can't enable. So you have to have boundaries as well, because to keep you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally whole, you can't be with people who are just down. Now, if this person is suicidal, yeah, we need to get therapy, doctors, you need to call 911. But if we're talking about just an attention seeker, you need to, in love, say, sister, brother, you know, I can't do it anymore. I'm gonna have to distance myself because it's affecting me, and I've got, you know, but what is it? What is it? And they might tell you or they might not. But I guarantee, in love, if you come to people in love, communication in Christ, they may get in, but sometimes you need to make a decision. This person will just forever be an attention seeker. So are you going to stay in it? And is this a toxic? Again, we're going into toxic friendships and relationships. You know, that's another thing.
Absolutely.
Surrounding yourself with toxic people.
That's
a whole nother shit.
all that's going to do is bring you down. Then you got to struggle to get out of that hole. So you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you're just joining, you have tuned in rather to Houston HBCU Live. This is the monthly web show of the Houston HBCU Alumni Association. We're joined now with our guest, life coach, author, media personality, the Dr. Dawn. Dr. Dawn, when you were talking about something to help us, because we're talking to upwardly mobile people. We're talking to HBCU alums. We're talking to people that are both affluent and influential. How do we stop hiding behind all of that? Because some of us hide behind degrees, sororities, fraternities, this, that, and the other, and we're not dealing with our real selves. So how do we stop hiding behind these accomplishments?
Well, many people want to be accomplished because, okay, let's say, for example, you have someone who mom and dad wasn't there growing up, right? That degree is giving them validation. These titles give them validation. That's why they have to put every accolade on Facebook. That's why they have to tell you every single thing they're doing. Believe it or not, some people didn't have mama and daddy to say good job. And they need those likes because they're that little boy who's 4 years old who wished somebody told him that. You have some people who mom and dad were so they couldn't break generational curses. They weren't even at college and high school graduation. So imagine graduating, and I know somebody who continues to get degrees, and I figured out this individual, and I'm not going to say the name, so I'll just say individual, but I figured out this individual was continuing to achieve because their parent, that father figure, wasn't there. And that's why this individual needed validation. And I could be patient with this person because I was like, you brag too much. But see, I had a mom and daddy who told me I could do it. This person didn't have it. And I realized that. But see, that's why you have to be patient with people. There's a reason, but I think we have to, again, be tired of it. You have to be ready to take off the mask, take off the facade. You don't have to go to Facebook publicly. Look yourself in the mirror. You got to start with yourself and say, I don't like where I am, because the degrees can't give you peace. The degrees can't bring you peace. You have to love yourself. You have people working at Walmart who have more peace than people making 6 figures in corporate America, right? But money doesn't buy you peace. You have to have peace. And when you get tired of it, you will say, you know what? I'm tired of this. That's why you see people leaving 6-figure jobs to go work, to be an executive director for a nonprofit for youth, because they're finally following purpose. They're no longer led by titles, and they understand. But God, when God is at the center of your life, you realize nothing else matters. You realize those degrees don't make you. It is, you have to know who you are and whose you are. But it takes you have to be sick of where you are. We can just encourage you all we can, but see, my situation, I had to get sick of where I was.
Mhm.
Mama couldn't help me. I had to get sick of where I was to where I said, I got to fix this.
Mhm.
So you really have to be sick of where you are mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And then with that, small steps. Small
Mhm.
steps.
Yeah.
I'm going to call a therapist today. I'm going to call a
Yeah.
counselor today. I saw the Dr. Dawn on the HBCU show, and I'm going to reach out to her and ask her for her referral list for therapists. Uh, it starts with small steps, and don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed because you are not alone. You're not alone. But you have to be tired of where you are because it's something about you. And again, deep-rooted issues. If that degree gives you validation, what is it about that? What are you missing that you need the titles to make you feel whole? So you've got to get to the deep-rooted issues, and therapy and counseling can help you with that.
This has been an amazing
Very good.
conversation. Just some of the comments. Michael and Flag said, realize that we need to be our authentic and transparent self. Gracie
Yes.
Bradford says, assist versus enabling.
Yes.
Yolanda Dussenson, excuse me. This is a great message. Just wanted to recognize some of the comments that we've heard today. Dr. Don, thank you so much. Please tell
Thank you
everyone
all.
how they can
Thank you
connect
all.
with you. That I know you come on Facebook Live,
Yes.
you got radio shows, TV shows, you're all over the place. So tell us
Well,
how we
hold on. I'm at the right places. Yeah.
you're in the
I ain't,
right place.
yeah, I ain't all over the place. So you can't put your purpose everywhere. I don't
Come
just
on.
spread my
Well, I
we
mean
in the
in the
right place,
sense that
Richard.
we can
Amen.
the right place, but I mean in the sense that we can
Amen.
always
Yeah.
find
Just be
you.
at the right place.
I stand corrected. You're always in the right places,
Yeah.
and
Some people
we
be
can.
everywhere and they really nowhere. But anyway, that's
Yes.
another topic for another time. But
All
yeah.
right. So how can we keep up with you?
Well, I want you to just follow me on social media and I will follow you back. And it's on all social media platforms the same. THEDRDAWN, like you see it on my my name here. So just follow me and I will gladly follow you back. And if you need that referral list of therapists and counselors for deep-rooted issues, if you're dealing with grief, depression, and you lost a loved one, reach out to me. And I will send it to you. And it's confidential. Everything's confidential. So don't worry about that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dawn.
Yes.
We really appreciate you, and
Thank you.
and I need you to
Thank
another
you, Dr.
right
Dawn,
place
for
for you.
joining
Thank
us.
you, doctor.
Hey, and another right place for you is
Yes.
joining the Houston HBCU Alumni Association.
Let me tell you, I am making a donation tonight, not only to my HBCU, but to I will be making it to this organization as well, because we get so busy. And that's
Yes.
that's a problem with Black colleges. We don't give back. So I've been so busy and all this, but I have to, I mean, how am I going to be on this show? And I haven't given this year, right? I mean, come on. So I will be making a donation, and I'm not lying about that. I'm not going to fake book that. I'll do
I
that.
know you'll do it. And when you do that, listen, and everybody that's watching, membership is only $35 a year. Your annual membership for an individual membership, it's $35 a year. So please go to www.hhbcuaa.org to join or make your donation. Dr. Don, I'm looking forward to you joining us again very soon.
Yes. And I like how you sneak in the money after the
I
interview.
am
I
too.
like that, Richard. I like it. Yeah.
Dr. Don, they don't call me the bishop for nothing.
Yes, he's a bishop, Lord.
I'm a credentialed bishop, ordained, okay?
The two go together, right, Bishop? The two go
I've
together.
been at this for over 20 years. I'm not a novice. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you. God bless you.
And thank
God
you
bless you.
so much, Dawn, for joining us.
What an amazing show we had tonight, Dr. Johnson.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did, Bishop. This was an amazing show. I mean, the information, it was just right on time. We are experiencing a pandemic. We're trying our very, very best to not only get ourselves through it, but to help others to get through it and to make sure, as we talked about, checking on each other. So let me just send a shout out to our co-chair of our At Ease Thursday. It was membership night, and that was something that she brought up, that we just really just needed to take the time to get to know each other. And she asked each of us to just introduce ourselves and just tell a little bit about what we do, who we are, and what we do. And we were amazed about the things that we found out that night about each other. So this is just right on time, just to be able to get those nuggets from our guests, to be able to use it ourselves, but to be able to help someone else as well as help this organization, because we are here to grow. We have truly grown from where we were. The programs, we have meaningful programs, with the top one being our annual HBCU College Fair. Let me publicly thank everyone that had a hand in making sure that that event was another success story for our books. We are already in the middle of planning 2022. Can you believe that, Bishop? I
I
mean, we
can
thought we were
because
going to have an
I know
opportunity to
you.
take a breather, but we are in the middle already of planning 2022. So, guys, pay attention to our social media platforms. There, we announce everything that we're doing. The historically Black colleges and universities. Right now, we as an organization, Houston HBCU Alumni Association, HBCUAA, we are making sure that our historically Black colleges and universities remain out in the forefront. And because of our members, and you touched upon that, talking about membership. If you are an alum of a historically Black college or university, you can join us for just $35. That's annually. And if you are not an alum of one of our historically Black colleges and universities, we have what we call an associate's membership. Join on that level. That's only $25 annually. And then for our local HBCU chapters, you can join on the chapter level. And let me tell you the advantage of doing that. If you join on a chapter level, which is only $100 annually, guess what? All of your financial members of your chapter for that year are automatic members of this organization. And what we asked of you is to just make sure you identify at least 2 individuals and send them to the business meetings. We meet once a month. Right now it's on a Tuesday night. We keep our same conference time, 6 p.m. And we send that information out to our members' email addresses that they have listed on file. That's to make sure that we keep everything, all of our business confidential, because you want to make sure that you have business meetings and not just gatherings. So you will find here in the historically Black colleges, our organization, the alums of our historically Black colleges and universities, we have professional business meetings. We start on time. If you're not there by 6 p.m., President Dr. Veronica Johnson have already called that meeting to order. 6 p.m. We want to start on time so we can end on time, so that you as members come back to the meeting, because we need your input, we value your time, and we welcome your presence to our organization. So please, guys, if you are a graduate or an alum of one of our historically Black colleges and universities, please join us. You can join on the website. It is running across the bottom, and I will give it to you for those of you who are listening. It is www.hbcus.org. hbcuaa.org. Join us, and you will make sure that you leave a legacy for those to come behind you, for generations to come. Your children, your children's children, all of your friends' children. We want everyone to experience the same thing you experience while matriculating on the campus of one of our historically Black colleges and universities. There's nothing like it. The HBCU experience, you have to live it in order to tell the story. It's no other way. If you hear someone else tell the story, the first question you should ask is, did you graduate from an HBCU? And if the response is no, then you know that that story has been doctored. Am I right about that, Bishop?
You
We're
are right
here
about
to
it.
make sure we
And
control our narrative and
that's
tell
right.
our stories before someone else tells the story for you. Because trust me, it will not be the same.
Absolutely. Thank you,
So,
President
Bishop,
Dr.
we have
Veronica Johnson.
truly had.
We have had an
You're so
amazing
welcome.
show
You're
tonight.
so welcome. It is. Yes, we
I
have.
think we've got a little lag there in timing. So we've had a great show tonight. Thank you to our guest, Tandy Caraway, also Dr. Don Paul.
Yes.
And thank you so much for joining us tonight on Houston HBCU Live. We're going out with the Queen of Soul. It would have been her 79th birthday. Happy birthday,
Oh, yes.
Teresa
Happy
Louise
birthday.
Franklin. Y'all have a great
Yes.
night. Good night.
Have a great night. Good night.